So is it Chopard or Chopard?
Neither. It's neither. You illiterate. What is up, Watch Fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Vintage Watch Shop.
My name is Sam, and this moron right here is buying a gold Speedmaster.
Today we're talking about a lot of things. The second conversation today we're going to have is about my journey to buy a Speedmaster, right? I'm a big Omega fan. We're going to talk all about it and talking about the journey to buying the right Omega Speedmaster for you. And in this case, today's conversation, for me. Let's talk about me some more.
You mean just a gold watch in general?
Yeah, just a gold watch, exactly.
Just any gold watch would do.
Exactly. So the first conversation we're going to have is about Panerai and about this Navy SEAL flyback that they just released. And there's some couple interesting questions, going around it. And one, is it too big? Two, is it too expensive? Three, is it okay that Panerai is making a watch with the Navy SEALs when they supported the Axis powers in the Second World War? A bunch of questions people are asking. Second is a Speedmaster conversation. Third, we're going to talk about new releases from Patek Philippe. Surprise releases that they just dropped. They were women's releases, but also like contextualizing the conversation and talking about Chopard as well, and really the history of women's watches, right? Like, I know that this channel is predominantly viewed by men, but actually women have it's kind of a sausage party here. It's kind of a sausage fest.
We'll give it away.
We'll give it away.
Curious what the ratio breakdown is.
I think it's 98%. 98%. Yeah. Yeah. 98%.
That's fitting for you.
So we're talking about the history of women's watches just a little bit, and talking about how we hope that women's watches are kind of on an uptick, right? Because there's so much that needs to be done on a cultural level to really do a lot of things that are really important to the watch industry, including make it grow by twice the size. It's very important. And the last conversation we're going to talk about is Zenith's collaboration with Aaron Rodgers and our thoughts on it. Sam and I disagree on this.
Yep.
I think this is a big, stupid flub. And Sam,
I think you're an idiot.
Well, there you go. So, okay, let's get to this first conversation, buddy. Panerai, Navy SEAL flyback. What are your thoughts?
From looking at this watch, I do enjoy it. I think there's a lot going on. I just think that the guy who is wearing this, because I'm assuming it's going to just be a male, has to be like 6'4" minimum to just pull this off. You just need to look tough. I feel like if I or you put this watch on, it just we couldn't pull it off. I'm telling you right now, I know I cannot pull that watch off.
No, 47 millimeters in diameter and extremely thick. It's actually unmeasured. They're not disclosing the thickness, but the reviewer on a blog to watch said it's over 15 millimeters in thickness. So it's a really big watch.
Wow. Okay.
But here's so the first question is a matter of size, and the next we'll get into design, and then after that we'll get into consequences of rewriting history. Okay, sure, 47's way too big for most people. It's certainly too big for you. It's certainly too big for me. Fine. What about Frankel Tori?
Oh no, yeah, no. There's someone out there. There are definitely people out there that have wrists big enough for this watch. I just feel like most people cannot carry this watch.
They can't.
It's going to look too big. It's going to look a little ridiculous.
But it's limited to 70 watches. So are there 70 people in the world that say, wow, not only is this beautiful, but it fits my, what is objectively speaking, gargantuan wrist well? And that's important, right? Like,
agreed.
I'm certainly not accusing you of this, but I get accused of this sometimes because I'm always talking about my taste in watches and my view in watches. Of course, naturally, it's my channel. But the point is, right, like, not everything can serve everybody. That's the point, right? Like, if you are neither hot nor cold, right? If you stand for nothing, you are lukewarm and I spew you out of my mouth. That is the Bible, right?
Yeah.
If it's in the Bible, it's got to be true, right? Like,
Which one?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the point. Like, I love watches that are polarizing. Now, being polarizing or being contrarian doesn't mean that you're good or right, but being polarizing means that you took a design decision. Like you took a path, like you made a choice. Whereas a lot of watches make no choices, and I just don't love that, right? So on a proportion size, I have on a size level, I have no problem with how big it is.
Agreed.
And I think that the proportion is justified. I think that's well proportioned. I don't think it looks like.
It doesn't look like 47.
Right? Like,
yeah, it doesn't look 47 millimeters when you look at a photo of it.
Yeah.
But if you put this on your wrist or I put this on mine, it would just look massive. Besides the size, what do you think about the design of this watch?
So, well, I actually like the design. I like the yellow. I like the yellow kind of instruments. The real question is, what do you think about the finish? Right, that's part of the design, right?
Yeah.
Panerai has decided this is a Navy SEAL commemorative watch. The steel case is finished in what they're calling a burnished. They're saying it in Italian, but it is burnished, right?
Okay.
A finish which is essentially the same like logical thread that faux patina is, right? Like faux patina and derelict cars are like the same thing. Do you think that this intentional aging is, I mean, it's objectively a little deceiving. Do you think it's acceptable or no?
I like the fact that it is burnished. I think it fits the watch. I think it fits the idea that this is a Navy SEAL watch. This is a watch that is going to get beaten up. It's going to be used in water. It's going to be in the mud. Now, or do you have something there?
Speaking of water, Panerai is ridiculed, and by me as well, for not always being water resistant. Like Panerai's whole point of existence is the fact that they're, like Navy watches and a lot of the modern ones, including the submersibles in precious metal, they're just not water resistant. I have a problem with that. This is water resistant. We're talking about another unwater resistant watch later by Patek, which is ridiculous. This is water resistant to 300 meters. I just wanted that on the record. This is an actual dive watch. It's capable.
Nice.
Is it too complicated? Yeah, but it's capable.
No. My other question is Panerai, if I'm correct, is a Swiss company?
So Panerai is
technically,
Panerai's lineage is Italian. Their early movements were manufactured by Rolex, so there was always Swiss lineage.
Okay.
And now it is a Swiss company that puts on a like Italian face. Like it's like a Swiss company that puts on a big nose and a must. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but then why choose the Navy SEALs? I have all the utmost respect for Navy SEALs, but that to me is such an American.
Well, it is an American thing,
but the watch isn't.
Right. Not only is it Italian or Swiss, but like,
what's the tie? What's the connection?
I'll make it even worse. I'll rub salt in the wound.
Please do.
Panerai watches were, Panerai supplied the watches to like the Axis.
Oof.
Right? Like Panerai was on what we now, Panerai was on the wrong side of the war.
Yeah.
Right? Like, period. And they made the watches for the wrong side of the war. So now that they've shifted over to the Navy SEAL side, I think that, I know that makes no historical sense. I get it. But I actually think it's nice.
I get where you're going with that.
It makes no sense for the brand.
I am literally not dumbfounded. I'm still confused about it. Let's put it that way. I don't know how to feel. Yeah, I don't. I don't love it. I like the watch. I feel like it should be an American brand. And I get that it's an odd or a nod to the Navy SEALs.
But and I agree with you. Like I think that an American, first of all, we don't really have American watchmaking. That's very strong.
No, I know.
And I wish we did. But you're right. I mean, I definitely wish an American company was the one that was becoming famous for supporting the Navy SEAls. Like, I definitely agree with you.
Or if it was like a collab with a very well-known American company. Like, I would have rather saw some other tie-in than the Navy SEAls. And I understand with this watch. And
I actually agree with that.
I don't know what they're charging for this, and I'm sure you'll mention that in a second, but they're donating a portion of the proceeds. Is that correct?
So, yeah, an undisclosed portion. So the watch retails for $61,500.
You're joking.
No, I'm not. With the watch comes an experience.
Please tell.
Comes with a Navy SEAL training boot camp experience. Now, the irony of the experience is I would pay you $61,700 to not get my kicked by a Navy SEAL.
So you spend $61,000 and then you get hazed. It sounds like a state school.
Yeah. So I agree with you that it's silly, and I agree with you. Like, I would not do the Navy SEAL experience. It's not for me. I'm not interested in it. I'm just not interested in it, right? But I do think that a large part of the future of mid-tier brands, or even large brands, but mid-tier brands becoming really cool is experiences. I never understood NFTs because I never overcomplicated it. I kind of just like pretty simple. Like it's either a product and an experience, or it's just a ticket. This is a product and an experience. Like the NFT thing, they were telling you like, no, this thing is an asset, but it's also an experience. It's like, no, this is just a cool looking ticket to a thing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
This is like, no, you get a watch. You get a cool watch. It's probably worth $20,000 or on retail level. And yeah, you're paying another $40 for an experience, but you take the experience with you for the rest of your life, and that's actually much more important than money. So, and a lot of people feel that way, and I agree with that. Like you get to a point in life like where, and a friend and I talk about this all the time. It's like, there's nothing wrong with spending money. We love to spend money, but it's like diversify what you're spending on a little bit. Like make sure your house is in order, right? Like if you have a bunch of really nice watches, I would hope you're eating well. I hope you're enjoying your life out. I hope you're seeing the things that you wish to see. I know, a friend of mine, centimillionaire friend, never left Brooklyn his whole life.
Yep.
Leaves Brooklyn at, I don't know what, 72, 75, throws his back out on the airplane. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you wanted to go to Italy your whole life and you never made it. Why didn't you go? You're a centimillionaire. Why didn't you go? You know, so I am on the same page as the experience thing. This experience isn't for me, but a lot of things aren't for me. Imagine a world where you walk into a Vacheron Constantin AD or a Patek AD, or Patek is maybe a bad example because it's such an established brand. Yep. Vacheron is as well, but Vacheron is of the Holy Trinity, like the up and comer, right? Yep. Relatively speaking. Or you go to a Panerai boutique, or you go to wherever, and assuming you don't negotiate, right? This would be a strategy. This would be part of the strategy to maintain like integrity on pricing. It's like with the purchase, you get not a vacation. You can't get a vacation; it's too expensive. But you get 2 nights. You get 2 nights at a hotel, a really, really nice hotel. Yeah. You know that the brand is clear, or the conglomerate is clearly working out a deal with.
Of course.
And you get a visit to the factory or whatever. Now, what percentage of people are going to take the brand up on that? Probably a very small percentage. I have never, and I am not going to beg a brand to give me a watch. I would actually rather spend a little bit more money and not negotiate and get an experience with it. And I know that's not everybody, but that's definitely me, and I represent a lot of people. I'm not, my line of thinking here is not zero. It's representative of a large group. And it would be like super cool. Like I would totally coordinate to buy a Panerai to like go spend 2 days in Florence. Like, would I go to Florence to visit Panerai? Maybe not. But would I say, wait, if I buy this watch, you'll put me up in Florence for 2 days?
Yeah.
I can coordinate a trip like that. Hey, honey, do you want what about in the next year? Do you think we could book a trip to Florence? Like,
let's do it.
Let's do it, right? Because they always say yes, right? They always.
Then you make a vacation out of it, and I think that if the watch company, whoever it may be, can deliver on that experience, it's just going to make you that much more, deeper in the funnel of a fan of that brand, someone who's going to speak highly, a lifer, and you're going to buy your kids' watches from that brand because of that experience that you had. I just think it's smart, and I don't think enough people take advantage of it.
That's how you build loyalty. I was at a steakhouse, Gene and Giorgetti in Chicago last week, and
Best spot.
I just saw it was the coolest thing happen right in front of me. The representatives from the restaurant were explaining to me, that there's a little kid over there, and they went over and they kneeled down and they were talking to his parents, and they were talking about, they have a corporate brand speak for it, but it's like your first steak.
Yeah.
And your first steak ever is on the house. So if you're a young man that grew up coming with your parents, your first steak's on the house. And the whole idea is, if we give you your first steak on the house, you may not even remember that. You may not, doesn't matter. Your mom and your dad are going to remember that. And then your mom and your dad are going to keep taking you there, and it's going to be your family restaurant. And then one day, not only are you going to want to go there for your high school graduation or your college graduation, you're also going to take girls there on a date. Yeah. Right? You're going to be like, this is my special restaurant. This is my family place. We don't own it, but we feel like family here. And it's going to be a place where you probably take what will ultimately be your wife. And it becomes a thing. And I feel that way about brands, and I feel that way about Panerai. Panerai's got a very specific design language and a very cool story. And I think that if they hone it and if they do more experience-based stuff, which they're tipping their hat to, I think they've got a very bright future ahead of them.
I agree with that.
All right, next conversation. A lot of the heat and passion and desire toward the Speedmaster, particularly rare models, has caused auction prices to just go insane in the last 5 years, right? I mean, you've got Speedmasters selling for big money, and rightfully so. In fact, they become kind of unaffordable, right, on the really collectible end, which really brings us into a different conversation about how do you get into that? How do you ride that wave of collectability or ride that wave of investability, right? And I think the answer is, which doesn't really exist in watches, it's fractional ownership, right? It's exactly what Masterworks is doing in art. And blue chip whole contemporary art has outpaced the S&P 500 now for the last 27 years at an impressive rate of 136%, which just seems absurd. 2023 UBS Art Market Report says 77% of high net worth collectors are optimistic about the global art market, only 6% pessimistic, right? They're grossly outweighed. And Masterworks is at this point seasoned in this. They just exited their 16th sale a few weeks ago, delivering another double-digit net return to everyday investors. People people who were, interested in art and interested in making money, but didn't need millions of dollars or art expertise to do so. And while Masterworks has taken those 16 exits, would have delivered a profit to their investors, they've acquired at this point 300, right? So the future for Masterworks is very, very long and very, very bright. With the biggest named artists in the world, right? Banksy, Picasso, the equivalents of Rolex, Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin, right? Omega. The whole point is that while these markets are raging, right? And the art market is and has been raging for decades, far longer than the watch market, it's completely unaffordable, right?
Yep.
So to ride that wave of appreciation, you need to have deca millions, right? But through Masterworks and their fractional ownership program, through their platform, you can actually buy a piece of that art and benefit disproportionately, right? Like get in on this like cultural arbitrage.
Yeah. This is a great way to one, diversify your investment portfolio, and two, just have fun while you're doing it. This isn't a stock. This is a piece of art.
It's a
cool.
huge thing. It's way cooler, way more fun.
Makes it fun.
That's how I got into watches. It wasn't to make money. It happened to, sure, but the whole point is like it's history, it's art, it's fun, it's mechanics. I mean, I absolutely love the concept and the execution done by Masterworks, which is why you can't even sign up for Masterworks. The list is just too long. But you can, with our link, skip the line at Masterworks and sign up. Yes, and that's why we're so proud to have Masterworks as a sponsor of today's video. Thank you to Masterworks, and I highly recommend you all go sign up for the Masterworks platform. It's just an incredible place where you can explore art history and make money doing so. So head on over. I want to buy a Speedmaster because I went to the Omega exhibit and I really fell in love again.
So what are you leaning towards right now? Walk me through this.
So my first, inclination is to say that I love the trilogy. I love the trilogy Speedmaster. I think it's 38 millimeters in diameter, 39, 38.8 or something like that. And it just fits really well on my wrist. The bracelets are ultra thin. It's got faux patina. It's got broad arrow hands. It's got this beautiful matte dial. It's got a steel bezel, not acrylic. It's got everything that I like.
Yep.
I owned this watch once and I sold it. I think I made like fucking $500. I shouldn't have did it. I think I owned it at $7,000. So it's ridiculous. An idiot. Now they're like $9,000. And I really like this watch, but it does beg the question. So I spend $9,000. Am I ever going to wear it? You know the answer to the question.
It's a no. And I think that you need to. No, I think you need to get out of your own head in the sense that you kind of make it up already. That it's like I'm never going to wear this. Whereas I think you need to actually make the effort to. It's like, oh no. I'm going to XYZ. Like we're going out for lunch. I'm going to put that watch on. It's just like if you gifted me, granted it's a gift, it's different. Or if I bought a Piaget like you have right now.
But it would
like,
mean something. If I gifted you a Piaget, it would mean something.
All right, then let's take a step back. If I were to purchase
a Zero watch.
That is a Zero watch. If I were to purchase one, I don't know that I would wear it every day.
Right.
But I know that, we're going out to lunch. Like, I'm going to put the Piaget on. Like
if you went and bought a Piaget, I don't think you'd wear it often.
No, I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't.
I think that when you wore it, you would feel high.
I agree with that.
You would look in the mirror and you would say, wow, I am Don Draper right now. Wow, this is the coolest thing. My Datejust, my Baltic, my Timex, those are my watches. But right now I am Superman under a full sun. Like, this is it. So I don't know if I'd ever feel
you wouldn't get that high from the trilogy.
No, I just think it's a neat watch.
Interesting. Okay.
And I think it's a place you need to be in collecting where like you realize like you don't need to own everything you like. I love this watch. I love it. If my son was I don't have a son. I don't have a brother. If my dad was a Speedmaster guy, I'd get him that watch. Right? Like, my dad was
it is a cool watch.
It's
I
great.
like the trilogy.
So let's be more realistic. What do I always say?
I'm going to spend $50,000.
No, God, stop it. I'm going to walk you through the three that I'd like to buy. The first one I want to talk about is the least expensive. Let's call this the bargain bin. I'd like to buy.
How did you use that term?
I'm clearly joking. Have a sense of humor. At about $22,000, you can get the Omega Speedmaster Moonshine Gold with these. I think it's better in the black subdials with the gold dial on a strap. And it's a rubber strap, and I think it's so comfortable. I've worn it before. I was actually at the launch of this watch. I loved it then. I love it now. I would love this watch. I would wear this watch all the time. I would wear this watch all the time. And the only watch that I think I would wear more often than that is that watch on a gold bracelet.
Yes.
Which does add about $10,000 to the price tag, which in the grand scheme of things is like no money, right? When we've
it's all a bargain.
I'm clearly being facetious, everybody, okay? Since we've left the gold standard, money's not even real. It's not even a real thing. It's nothing, right? What we're really doing is trading time, and I don't respect my time at all. I waste it constantly. So I really love it on the gold bracelet, and the reason I love it on the gold bracelet, obviously, is I love the shine of the moonshine gold. I love it. Like it's a gold that will never tarnish. I love the moonshine gold, and because I didn't buy like my Rolex in yellow, I bought it in white. I think I need like a modern yellow.
I need more gold.
I think I need more gold because when
Stock
I wear
it
my
up.
GMT, like no one knows. You know what I mean?
Start calling you Goldfinger.
Gold.
Gold wrist.
Gold finger.
Yeah.
So I really like that watch. Now, and I'm almost done with my tirade. There's two more watches I want to talk about. The next watch is the Apollo 11 version with a red bezel, and that's the first one that I ever really loved. I saw this watch for the first time in person when I was in Switzerland at Omega's home base, and I wanted to buy it because I was like, this is an amazing trip.
Why didn't you?
It wasn't for sale. It was a non for sale model, and they essentially
There's always a price.
No, they were sold out. No. The non for sale model is engraved on the back, not for sale, which actually would have been cool to have.
I kind of want it more.
I kind of want it more. Yeah. What, you mean I can't have this? Eve looks into the camera. Classic. She takes off her earrings, and anyway, I loved it. I really love it. They've come down. They were in the 60s. Now they're in like the 40s. So they're actually, they're becoming.
They're a bargain.
They're becoming kind of affordable now, for most folks. I'm being facetious. Relax. But the point is, they're great. I think it's an odd watch. I think it's a beautiful watch. I do think it's more beautiful than the black. And I think they're both better than the green, although the green is really nice. I
disagree.
Green.
My favorite's the green.
Really?
I love that. Is just.
I love when you disagree with me.
Oh, talk dirty to me. This reminds me of like Emerald City and like the Wizard of Oz in a weird way, like that type of green. To me, like it's meant, like I can't stop looking at it.
Really?
I don't know what color green that is. To me, it's just like that is a perfect green.
It's like a hunter.
Yeah,
Maybe more saturated than a hunter. It's in that vicinity.
It goes so well with the gold. Like it just looks perfect. This is the watch that I would get if I was spending $41,000 on a watch. Let's take it back to reality. I just want a regular Speedmaster.
Right. And they're amazing.
I love them. I want one so bad. It's the watch that, in a sense, got me into watches. I remember when my cousin first bought his.
Yes.
The exposed case back. And just having it on your wrist, like it felt like home. It just felt good.
It felt right.
So that's where I would go. But I disagree. I would prefer green, but I don't hate. I love them all. They all look good. How do you not want it? I also don't own a gold watch, which is kind of why I want this even more.
I know, but I again, I'm all about like understand yourself and where you want to put your resources, and I think that you really ought to get a gold watch. Do you want a $40,000 gold watch, or do you really like?
Oh, right now I don't want a $40,000.
I don't mean now. I just mean like if you have $100,000 in watches that you can ever spend, are you going to put 40 toward a gold?
No, I wouldn't put that much.
You probably scratch your gold watch itch. Under 10.
Oh yeah, no, I'd go Piaget or Cartier or something along those lines.
And the last one I want to talk about is the Canopus Gold, which is made with all noble metals. I was looking at photos the other day. It's a really cool watch. Like objectively, the dial's cool, everything's cool. It's kind of a weird Speedmaster. That watch is cool. It's bold,
I really enjoy
under
that.
The radar. It's a dial configuration that they'll never make in steel. Ben Clymer has one, I believe, which is cool. It's a cool watch.
And what do these go for? About 40?
40. Yeah, 40,000. So
that is nice.
Again, you can get the yellow for like 32.
Yeah.
But the white is like 40.
The white's
that's
a clean dial though. That just looks nice.
It's pretty. I wouldn't get it. I have the GMT, and I wouldn't do another
white gold.
I definitely wouldn't do another white gold modern sports watch from a major
sense.
brand. Just wouldn't do that. It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
Well, you love sports watches so much.
Absurd. You sound like Michael now. Michael's like, you're a sports watch guy.
So anyway, what you wear.
So if I buy a watch, if I buy a Speedmaster, for right now, I would do it on the strap.
Okay.
And if I really liked it, I'd buy the bracelet.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised you wouldn't just go with the bracelet right away. I know you're a strap guy.
I'm feeling mealy mouth. I would probably just buy it with the
Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding?
Yeah. In a more real sense, in a more truthful sense.
I'm getting them all.
Yeah. If you love watches like I do, if you think that they mean something more than the time, then head on over to theoandharris.com and shop our selection of vintage watches and handmade straps. They're unique and they're special, and once they're gone for good. Chopard and Patek have both released women's watches this week.
Yep.
That are gem set, right?
Yes.
That's it. Like, and the Chopard ones I think are much more tasteful
Yes.
than the Patek ones. I think Chopard did a great job. The Patek ones, some of them are cool. I actually like the Aquanaut better. The Aquanaut is unfortunately not water resistant, which is what I criticized Panerai before. So how can I not criticize Patek? That being said, the gradation of the color on the Patek is insane.
That is wild.
Skilled gem setting, and it's a minute repeater. So you press that, and it's the first minute repeater Aquanaut. It's insane.
That's wild.
It's not water resistant, which is kind of weird. But
that would scare me.
I don't think you can have a minute repeater that's water resistant. I actually don't know. That is insane. It's a wild watch. I don't recommend it. If my wife wanted, I would tell her no. It's $2 million.
So you're getting a beautiful watch just to begin with, and then the emeralds on top of it.
That complicated minute repeater.
I mean, that's a beautiful piece of.
Did you just change my mind on this watch?
I may have.
I just really think I really want more women in the watch game. I really do. I think that it's just great for the industry. I think it is great for the industry, right? If every woman, after they get their love bracelet, I'm speaking metropolitan women specifically. I'm sure that this is, it's a heat map and it's all major cities in America, and that's just whatever. But if women who are buying overpriced luxury items are buying the Cartier bracelet, that's like the standard issue. I just hope they get into watches after that, and I hope that they blossom into watch collectors, just because watches are such a beautiful hobby, and the more people that are in it, right, by doubling the size, including women, and not just as like, oh, I'll buy a Lady Datejust, but as collectors, the industry doubles and or at least goes up exponentially, and that's just good for the industry. And what's good for what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I think that's the expression.
Is it? I don't know, actually.
I don't know.
We'll go with it.
I think that's what it is.
We're gonna roll with it.
I could have said anything and you would have agreed.
Yeah, at that point.
You would have been like, gander, yes, of course.
In
fact, I'm gandering at this watch, and I think it's lovely.
No, I like them both. And I think that, again, like I'd love to see more women wearing Ladies Datejusts or tanks. Or
And
just any
getting
watches
into
in
it.
general. I feel like I hardly see, even in a corporate setting, I hardly see any women wearing watches besides an Apple Watch or I see a lot of, is it Michelle's? Or is that the watch brand?
Yeah, Michelle brand. Yeah, I mean, I just want to see people get into it
Yeah,
more. I mean, I think the Bulgari Serpenti is one of the greatest women's watches of all
nice
time.
too.
I think it's one of the greatest watches of all time. It's an art piece. It's one of the watches that I would consider an art piece, and that's pretty high acclaim. And we actually just did a full write-up on it on the Zero. We did a whole kind of analysis of the history of the Serpenti. It's celebrating its anniversary, and not just as a bracelet, but as a watch. And I think it's truly one of the greats. If you'd like to read that piece and be a part of the conversation in the community over on the Zero, go down into the link in our bio, in the description rather, and sign up. If you do join the Zero and enjoy our weekly podcasts, shoot me a DM as well. I'd love to talk watches with you. But back away from the Zero, last conversation real quick, because I have to get out of here. I'm about to be in
You're
trouble.
so late.
Aaron Rodgers, Zenith. I think this watch is dumb. I don't know anything about Aaron Rodgers. I know he's sleeping with Taylor Swift, and that's all that I know.
No, he's not. That's Travis Kelce.
There you go. There you go.
So what don't you like about this watch? So take Aaron Rodgers out of it. What don't you like?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a Jets fan. I'm not a Jets guy.
He wasn't on the Jet. So a little fun fact: I was watching an interview with him. He's been a brand ambassador of Zenith since 20. I actually don't know,
right?
I think a few years. He wasn't on the Jets yet when he created this watch. He was still on the Packers.
Okay,
so that's why he went green.
Fan. I'm not a cheesehead, my man.
You're not a sports fan unless you got money on the game.
I will bet you who can race to the. I'll bet on anything.
So I'm a fan of this watch. Aaron Rodgers is one of the.
He's an idol of mine.
He's not an
idol.
idol.
Who Sam's first idol was? Ricky Martin, by the way.
Living the Vida Loca, baby.
That's true.
I'm gonna get nails in the comments for that
He
one.
used to run around with the gloves
That
on.
was my first concert.
Didn't you have a pillow with Ricky Martin?
I did not have a pillow. You've just been making that up for years.
I remember you had a pillow.
No, you've just been making that up for
Sam and I have
years.
been friends since we're like 6.
Yep. Anyway, so I'm a fan of this watch. I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers. He's arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks currently in the league, even though he is injured currently.
Even better than Darryl Strawberry?
That was a wild tangent, and you have to get out of here.
I gotta get out of here. I was going to be fired, and this whole channel is closed. The client's waiting, but I'm not actually.
And then you'd be stuck with me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll start my own channel.
That's you and
Sam and Michael are doing a spin-off.
It's like Joey from Friends. Ego on these two.
Oh my god.
No, but guys, this
I'm
is
lightheaded.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you love watches, go ahead and subscribe to the Zero and join our Patreon community. Podcasts every week and engagement with me regularly. I love all of our Zeros out there. We've got literally like 600 or something worldwide, and it's amazing. And I'm just so grateful to know you all. So go ahead and join and let's talk watches.
See everyone later.
Watches are unimportant to the time. They can't speed, slow, or stop it, and our phones tell it better. But as vessels for memories, they know few rivals.